Hi amigos, and welcome back to another edition of Plastic Models by a Regular Dude and my May 2017 Workbench update. I'm just going to go over a little bit about what I've got going on right now and what's going to be coming up in the near future. So let me switch camera angles. Let's take a look at what is on the Workbench. Alright, the first topic of discussion is this Revell BF109 G10 in 1/32 scale. It's a relatively new tool. I think it's 2013. And it's a kit I started somewhere between the 10th and 16th of September 2015, and I've been wrestling with it ever since. As far as the kit goes, it's gone together great. I don't really have any complaints. It's got some weird stuff, and you know, if you look at any reviews about it, it talks about the landing gear is kind of set up in a weird way. The struts are like two pieces and they go together weird and stuff like that, but other than that, it's pretty good. There's a couple of weird where this seam is on this engine cowling here. They put it in a weird spot because the actual seam line is right above, you know, the seam line that would be on the actual aircraft is right above where the seam line is on the kit. So, you know, there's a couple of weird things, but it does build into a nice kit if you know what you're doing. Some of the things I've learned is I really need to do a better job of studying my subject before I dive in, because there were some mistakes I made as far as the flaps and stuff like that that I didn't know, because I don't really have that much knowledge of you know, aircraft. I mean, I have a little bit, but you know, not enough that I'm not going to blow it and make some mistakes. But anyway, that was fine. The other problem I had was with the decals. Now, I bought this kit with the intention of doing a specific aircraft, and I've mentioned it before. I like doing subjects that have kind of an interesting backstory to them, or something unique about them. And in this particular case, I bought the Barracuda decal set for this aircraft, and with the intention of doing White 14, which was flown by Waldemar Vogler of JG51 at Garz, Germany, April 1945. The unique thing about this aircraft is he, at the end of the war, the pilot decided he was done and flew off to Sweden. Landed, aircraft was intact, and the Swedes took over the aircraft. So shortly after the war, they, you know, flew it and checked it out, tested it, and all that kind of stuff, I guess. And what they did was there's a few photographs of it in Swedish captivity. And what they had done was they had blacked out the swastika, and then over the Balkenkreuz, they painted the blue and yellow crossed Swedish emblem. So that was my plan. I was going to do that to replicate those photos. So put all the decals on, did my usual thing, put a clear coat, put my decals on, put a couple of clear coats on top of that, and then taped off here around the cross to do the paint. So I taped around it, and when I peeled the tape off, I peeled off the number 14 completely. So I was kind of bummed. So I just took the 14 completely off. I thought I'll continue on with my plan, and it just won't have a 14 on it. So I painted, what I did is I had this all blocked off into a square. I painted it yellow for the cross portion, but I painted the whole thing yellow, and then I put a strip of tape to form the cross on top of that, and then painted the rest of it blue. And what I wanted to achieve was painting the the Swedish markings not quite opaque to where you could still see the German cross underneath, so you could tell that it had been painted over. That was my plan. Or else I just wouldn't have put the decal on, which would have been the better course of action. So peeled off my outside tape, which is what peeled off the number 14, and then when I peeled the cross portion off to leave the yellow, I peeled the rest of the decal off and just destroyed it. So at that point I was like, all right, I'm done. So this has become a very long-term test bed project. I learned a lot of stuff about building an aircraft this size, you know, stuff like that, and you know, was able to practice some fine modeling and trying to imitate a photograph with splotches of color, stuff like that. So at this point I thought, you know what, I just used the Revell kit decal, which actually they're very nice. They conform really well to the seam lines, and they're nice decals. And then I put the 7 on there, which is totally incorrect, but I wanted some color on there. And then I'll clear coat over that I put on there, and then I'll weather it, all that kind of stuff, and finish the kit. It'll be totally inaccurate because it'll be the wrong markings for the wrong paint job, but at this point I just want to finish it, but I want to do a nice job as if it was correct, so I can practice some weathering and stuff like that. So that's the story with the 109. I should have this done soon, hopefully. Another week or two, and I should have it completed as far as all the weathering and the final detail painting. So that is that kit. The next kit I've got on the go currently is the Matilda, and I did a quick review on that and posted it up earlier. And as you can see, I've got the mud on here, but it is too light and it's dry looking, and I'm working on making it wet looking. So that's all I have left to do. I've done a few experiments. It looks like it's going to work, so I should be able to wrap this one up pretty quick. I'll glue the driver figure in place and finish up the other figures once I get the rest of my oil paints that I want to switch to for painting figures, because Mr. Tank Driver here is looking pretty jaundiced, in my opinion. I just can't seem to get the Vallejo model color flesh tones to work for me. I mean, they just, I can't do them. And I've tried and tried, and I just, it's not working the way I want. Seems like oils will be a bit better because of the blending process that you can use, so I'm going to switch over to that. So anyway, that's what's on the bench right now that I'm working on and trying to finish up so I can move on to the next stage. So let's take a look at what's coming up after I get these 2 items done. Well, before I talk about the new projects coming up, let's talk about the other pending project I have, and that is my kit number 3 for the plastic models for beginners, which is the Messerschmitt ME262. And if you've been keeping up, you'll know that I had to order a part, that I had to deal with a part that I'd lost. The front landing gear strut, lost it. Don't know where it was. I think I threw it away accidentally. But anyway, I'm doing this gear down, so I had to take care of that. So what I did was, looking on eBay, I came across this, which is the monogram Messerschmitt ME262 with a copyright date on the box of 1978. Now this is the same kit as this. This is just the reboxing, the newer reboxing of it from 2013. Other than that, it's the same kit. Now I thought $5, which is what I paid for this, plus shipping. The shipping wasn't bad, but the kit cost $5, and for that landing gear strut, and I figured I could build another Messerschmitt in a different color scheme, but gear up. You know, hang it from the ceiling or put it on a display stand or whatever. So that's why I bought it. So let's take a look in here. As you can see, there is no mostly completed aircraft from the Revell kit. What I did is I transferred the stuff from this box into this box. Now the reason there is no partially created or partially completed Revell kit is because I totally screwed it up. Totally messed it up. I'm not going to get into how I did it, but I did. So my plan is now this. I am going to rebuild the whole kit using the monogram parts and get it to the point where I left off on the last video update of the beginner build. Okay, so I'm going to get it back to that stage where I was getting into the painting and masking and all that kind of stuff, and just continue it from there. It may be a little while, but that's the plan. But I do want to make some remarks about this kit here. Now, this is the new landing gear strut. Now, as you can see, there's a brake line right here. Now, on that brake line, there is no flash, no seam line, no nothing. Okay, so this is a much older molding of the kit, and you can tell. So in looking at the kit, the plastic, another example would be this loop antenna. On the Revell rebox of this kit, there was just a ton of flash on it. Some of the other parts, there's a lot of flash, and it just didn't really look that great. The exhaust cones here, they had all kinds of flash on them. So that brings me to this point. Well, let me point out one other thing too. I'm sorry, stumbling around here a little bit, but on this wing here, this lower wing portion, says, if you'll remember, I had to remove a big old copyright thing, Revell, blah, 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 you know, and all this kind of stuff, made in China, that was all molded right on the outside of this part here. I had to shave that off, sand it smooth. All there is on here is just a copyright symbol and MMI, Monogram Models Incorporated. So I did a little bit more looking around and actually found this here, which says copyright, Monogram Models Incorporated, all rights reserved, made in USA. So this is the original molding of this that was molded in the USA. And you know, you can really tell the difference in the between the original and between the rebox that was molded in China. Obviously, after almost 40 years, the molds have really taken a beating, so they don't work as well as they did back in '78. So what am I saying? This is what I'm saying. This is a much better molded kit than the one I built, and I'm going to make some remarks on that, on how it goes together. Should be interesting. And also brings me to this point. If you're wanting to build one of these older kits that interests you, if you can find an older mold of it, you might. Now, it may be a wreck when you get it, but you might be better off trying to get one of the original boxings. You'd probably have to get newer decals because the decals are probably shot. But the quality of the molding is a lot better on this original kit as compared to the rebox. So that's just some food for thought. So that's the 262. So what have I got coming up? Since that beginner kit is on hold temporarily till I can get it rebuilt, I want to start another. And the next one I'm going to build, I was saving this kit for something else. It was just going to be just a build to do it, but I figured I'd incorporate this into my beginner series and introduce some new stuff. So this kit that I'm going to show you here in a second, I'm going to incorporate replicating a photo, replicating real life, and transferring it to the model, and some of the things you need to do as far as research and stuff like that. And that kit is the Tamiya M10 Tank Destroyer. This one is a 2016 release. Very nice kit. From all the reviews I've read, it goes together very well. The detail's good, and you can just really do some nice stuff with this kit. So that's going to be the next beginner kit. Whenever I get ready to start it, I'll do kind of a look in the box and talk a little bit about my goals for that beginner series, which will be kit number 4 in the plastic models for beginners. So this one's coming up real soon. U.S. Tank Destroyer M10 mid-production, and so watch for a video to introduce this kit. So there's that one. So to coincide with that build, I've discovered that I kind of like doing a couple of builds. I used to really like to focus on one kit at a time, but sometimes, you know, if something's drying or if I'm waiting for a part or supplies, you know, I get kind of antsy and I don't have anything to do. So I've discovered that I like building a couple of kits at the same time. So in addition to that kit, I'm going to be doing another one, and this one's just going to be, you know, just personal builds, not a group builds, not part, nothing other than I'm building it, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on it and try some new things that I really haven't messed with before. And that is the Revell of Germany Focke-Wulf FW190 F8. And this is a newer kit as well. This one is 2015. And this is one of those things I deal with in another video about reviews. There's some people that say this is just a ripping model right out of the box and it's just awesome and good value for the money, etc. And there's others that just can't stand it because the detail's too soft. It's a Revell kit, doesn't fit together, that, you know, whatever. I mean, there's differing opinions on it. Now, going off of my experience with the 109, I enjoyed that one and I thought it went together nicely. So I'm expecting about the same out of this. There is a channel, a YouTube channel, International British Modeler, a guy by the name of Martin. He built this kit and he really likes the Revell 1/32 scale, the newer Revell of Germany kits. And his whole mentality is he builds them right out of the box with what comes in the box, and he does the best job he can, and they turn out great. I mean, they're really awesome kits, and his whole thing is value for the money. What are you getting in the box? Does it give you a nice looking kit? And he showed that it can be made into a really nice kit without any extra stuff. And that's his whole thing, because these Revell of Germany kits are fairly inexpensive. I mean, you can get them, I mean, if you shop around, you can probably find them for even less, but they're, you know, 25, 30 bucks for a 1/32 scale kit is pretty good. And if you want to go whole hog and get some aftermarket stuff, there's plenty of aftermarket parts out there for them, for specifically the Revell of Germany kits. So, here's my plan with this one. Let me crack it open here. I just want to show you. Now, as I said, I like to build subjects that are unique or have a unique backstory to them. So I won't be using any of the kit decals or the kit color scheme. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not what I'm going to do. I want something unique. So in doing a little research, I came across a particular aircraft, and that is Black 3. So once I decided I want to do that, I found that Eagle Cals makes a decal set for Black 3. The reason I'm doing this, I'm not going to talk about the backstory right now because, you know, it'll take a few minutes, but I like the color scheme first of all because it is bare metal finish except for the upper surfaces have an RLM color on it. I can't remember which one it is, but it's got an RLM color on the top. And then the tail and the elevators are painted in red oxide primer on the fabric surfaces. So that sparked my interest first of all because I wanted to do a metal finish aircraft and this would be perfect because it's a combination of both, and it'll really kind of make me spread my wings, so to speak, and do something I don't normally do, which is a metal finish. So that's the ones I'm going to go with. And the only aftermarket I'm going with on this kit is by Basic Line, and it's called a High Quality Detail Set. It's for this particular kit, and it comes with the masks for the canopy and the windscreen, and it also comes with fabric. It's called micro textile seat belts. Fine print, real textile, natural texture, soft material, easy to thread the belts through the buckles. The buckles are on this, looks like nickel. Nickel photo etch, and that is actually made by Edward. So Edward's some good stuff, and these seat belts look nice because the seat belts that come, you can either do, I think the kit comes with a bare seat or a seat with molded on seat belts, and that just looks kind of wonky. So, and I didn't want to do photo etch seat belts again, so I thought I'd give these a try. So that's the only aftermarket I'm going to do on this one. I'm just going to build it straight out of the box, except for this and the aftermarket decals. So that's my plan. So watch for a video on that one coming up real soon, because as soon as I get these other kits finished, I'm going to be starting on these, the M10 and the 190. So basically that is my May update 2017. Finishing up the 109, finishing up the Matilda, and then starting the M10 and the 190. So watch for videos on the completes on the first two, and watch for intro videos for the 190 and for the M10, which will be kit number 4 for the plastic models for beginners. So that's pretty much it for this video, and as always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, scoldings, berating, anything like that, put it in the comments below, and I will answer you as quickly as humanly possible. So again, thanks for watching, and I will see you all on the next video.